Well, thanks for coming into the channel. You're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist, Central Coast, New South Wales, Australia. The Bible I was just listening to the Bible, and it says a careless person neglects their ways. A careless person neglects their ways. And this is what we're running into now in the modern dark value system, the new value system. People seem to be just thinking that neglect in their relationship is going to suffice by way of the influence and impact they think they're having through sex. Now, that'll work for the masses. That will work for the low-hanging fruit, for the people that are just thirsty and hungry and take whatever they can get. For the evil people of this world, where they'll lie, scheme, they're conceited, they're usually jealous of people that are successful. And what will happen, a lot of these people will get robbed, they'll get stolen from, they'll be abused, used, kicked to the curb, and this is because they start to find people like themselves. People that aren't interested in having a proper relationship. They just want to be wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and all that dark demonic stuff. They just want to use people for supply and then go back to their dysfunctional personal life. And this causes trauma. This causes trauma on people that are looking for a proper exclusive relationship. These people are chameleons. They know what to do because they've had weak people in the past. They'll usually marry somebody that's very simpy and weak, that they can put influence over and accommodate their habits without any complaints from the person that they're with. But what will happen is, for somebody to find somebody like that, usually the person that they end up with has the same character flaws and habits as the person that they are, which means they might initially have fun together and they might initially feel like they're punishing the ex or whatever the problem was or is, or who knows, but the way in which they turn on each other happens sooner than they think. They've come into the light. They've seen what the light's like. They think it's going to be better back in the darkness. They fall back into the darkness only to realize that they've shot themselves in the foot. All of a sudden, they're being used. They're being abused. They're being taken for granted. They're being put on the back burner, and they'll work with this for a little while. Yeah, they'll work with this for a little while. And the person that's thirsty as hell, that hasn't had any sex or intimacy for a while, they're sucking it all up. Oh yeah, they'll suck all that up. In the meantime, they've got orbiters around them. They've got secondary sources of supply. They don't tell each other this. They're speaking to other people on the phone. They're lining up dates and stuff like this behind each other's backs. They're having sex with several different other people. And all of a sudden, somebody has a massive mental breakdown. These are the people that you'll see on the news where somebody shot their boyfriend or girlfriend because they've just been abused to the point where they've come home and their sister's in bed with their partner. I've had a few sisters try and hit me up behind their sister's back. You'll be cleaning out the gutters and everybody thinks, nobody's watching, and then all of a sudden the sister will breeze past and go into the toilet in the shed. Can you just help me with this? No, you soon get out of there real quick when you realise there's more going on, and nobody's wise to this. You go back to cleaning the gutters and you've just been hit up by the sister. It's relentless out there. People are envious. They're conceited. They're jealous. They want to ruin things for family members. They've got spite, conceit. They get a new boyfriend or girlfriend and they think it's punishing their ex. It's really dark stuff. You know, you try and have privacy and all of a sudden a brother or a sister or a son or a daughter will walk in while there's, it's supposed to be intimate. There's no privacy. There's no boundaries. It's just this dark value system that doesn't work. It's got no boundaries. You'll try and figure things out and you'll think, oh yeah, this person will respond. They were pretty good at the start. They did everything at the start. And then we haven't got a flat tire, have we? No. And then all of a sudden, they're the most difficult, hyenas people to get along with. And you go, uh-oh. Now, these people will tell you they've been called a narc, they've been called a witch, they've been called a Jezebel. They're trying to give you a hint. And 9 times out of 10, we won't listen. We just carry on thinking, oh, yeah, no, that'll be all right. And when you're fully trained in witchcraft and the Jezebel spirit and, narcissism and all that, which you have to be as a minister, you think, oh, man, it's this. But the abuse of it, the negligence of it is so bad, you start to think, hang on a sec, this ain't even tolerable. They got triangulation going on with family members all over the relationship. They're passive-aggressive. Half the time you don't know what's going on with them. They don't talk. I've had a couple of girlfriends where I've gone, you don't talk, you don't ring, you don't text, you don't do nothing. You've got unresolved all over it. And then something will happen, because this is what happens. Something will happen, and then you get the blame for something you haven't even done, for somebody else's gripe. And you just go, oh, no, not this again, see ya. And these people will go back to an ex, or they'll meet someone that's married. See, a lot of these people that reckon they're a Jezebel or a witch or whatever they call themselves, they like to meet people that are married, because then they know that they're not going to have to make a thorough commitment. They know. Because whoever it is, the bloke or the woman, will have to go back to their wife or husband. But if they make a commitment with someone that's got standards and wants to have a proper relationship, that's going to cause trouble for them, because they don't want to do that. It's not in them to do that. These women that get married and they keep their name and all this, mate, that's alarm bells 101. 101. Alarm bells. But we just want to turn a blind eye to this stuff. It's relationships, personal suicide, intimate suicide. And these people are everywhere. For me, I was lucky. I'd figured women out by the time I was 14 years old, right? And you'll meet these women and they've had all these simp boyfriends and, nothing's worked out for them, and they've stood over people, and then they've ended up having to be the male in the relationship and this and that. And you come along, you've held your frame and paid the price for decades. They think you're stupid, and you're watching all this dysfunction going on, and they don't think you can tell. Either that, or they don't know themselves how bad it is, how bad the behaviour and dysfunction is. And then, all of a sudden, you're starting to have to chastise these people. You're starting to try and help them to understand that you can't behave like this in a relationship. And then you're going, who are these people with? because whoever they were with never said anything to stop the behaviour, to try and help this person to understand that that's not how this goes in a relationship. And that's the point where you should be saying, hang on a sec, I'm with somebody that's really got no idea. They got no idea. That's why these people like to be with married people, because they don't have to make a thorough commitment. They can have their emotional incestual relationships at home. They can have their drugs and masturbation and all this other stuff that they can do. They can feel sorry for themselves. A lot of these people, believe it or not, they'll feel sorry for themselves and then masturbate because they're asexual, they're into themselves. And you're wondering where they are and what's going on. If they're not on their own, they're having sex with somebody else, or they're emotionally, intimately involved with their children. Intimately involved emotionally with their children. And you're none the wiser. These people have not developed. They haven't had to. They've had people that have been as stupid as what they are. They've never matured. They've been allowed to do whatever they want. They've considered it to be all above board and devotion and all this. And it's just been a whole dark tirade of selfishness, self-centeredness that's nosedived into wickedness and neglect. Over and they just cycle. They just go around in a cycle. They fight, they get on. They fight, they get on. The children watch this and they just follow in the footsteps of the destruction. Now you might be saying, shivers, that sounds like my relationship. Well, if it is, get out. Get some therapy, stay in therapy, find a good psychiatrist or psychologist and work your way out of the trauma that you're in, because you're in trauma. A lot of these people, these adults, are in trauma from their children. They've enmeshed their children and abused them, parentifying them and making them little husbands and daughters, and then giving them the authority over them, and allowing them to become little parents and the parents a child. Oh, mate, I've seen it all. I've seen these children corner these mothers, single mothers, into a situation where they can't even stand up for their relationship. They're getting banged by these blokes that are trying to make a life for them, and they can't even manage their children. Selfish children. Adult children. And you're watching it and you're going, she'll come good. She reckons she was this, and this. But they don't. You've got to understand. You've got to be on your game. If somebody's not saying or not doing what they say, you've got a dud, man. You're with a dud. They're used to what they're doing. They're trying to condition you to their negligent ways. That's why you're on their back all the time. They're waiting for you to be conditioned. But if you don't allow them to condition you, you're going to be frustrated. You're going to be frustrated to no end. They frustrate the life out of you. That's where the trauma comes from. You need to be, I see a lot of you people aren't educated in relationship abuse. You think of physical abuse and violence and all this. There's a whole lot of more covert, narcissistic abuse going on than you people will ever know. And you're in it up to your necks. That's what these videos are for. I don't care how many times a week you're sleeping with this person or what all this and that. A lot of these people are just using you for supply. What happens is if they meet A-grade supply, right? If they meet A-grade supply and it's good, pure supply and not narcissistic, you'll find a lot of these people are intoxicated by narcissistic people. They have to have their narcissist and they have to have their empath. They'll switch between the two. They'll keep the empath away and let the narcissist come over, or vice versa. They're very cunning people. They'll use you for as long as you let them, because you're just a source of supply, security company. You're probably giving them a sense of identity in terms of your status. You give them a sense of status. But don't worry, behind your back, they're giving it to you. They're backbiting you. They despise you. They don't want to see, they're not backing you up. They haven't got your back. And that's how you know. As soon as there's unresolved, you have to walk away. This is Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, theologist. Bye for now.